The Watermark at the Pearl offers a pet-friendly urban environment for older adults that also includes on-site wellness and dining. Located in Portland's vibrant Pearl District, the Watermark redefines expectations for senior living. Every day brings enriching opportunities to live fully with connection, creativity, meaning, and purpose. So if you or a loved one are looking for independent or assisted living and/or memory care, visit portlandwatermark.com today. Your story continues at the Watermark at the Pearl. Breakside Brewery is having a month-long holiday pop-up at their Deacom location in Northeast Portland. It's open every day, 11:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Each week has different themes, from home for the holidays to a very trashy Christmas. And there's also festive food and events like bingo and wreath making and pictures with the Grinch. It's open to all ages, no reservations are required. For more details, head over to breakside.com/events. That's breakside.com/events. As we run through the holidays, you might find yourself with an unexpected pocket of downtime, either when traveling or hiding from your family, or maybe like me, you're still looking for gifts. Whatever the scenario, might I suggest exploring one of Portland's most deep-seated and vibrant creative communities, our graphic novel and comic arts scene. If you weren't aware, Portland's comic book scene is kind of a big deal. We have some of the industry's biggest writers and artists living amongst us. I mean, Matt Groening, creator of The Simpsons, is from Portland. And very recently, the Northwest Museum of Cartoon Arts opened up its doors downtown. So today on CityCast Portland, with the help of Katie Pride, owner of Southeast Portland's award-winning comic book shop, Books with Pictures, we're putting together a must-read list of some of the best graphic novels and comic books from a few local creators, including some artists from beyond our region. No matter if you've never opened up a comic book or are an avid reader, I'm sure you're going to walk away with a new title to check out, so sit tight. It's Thursday, December 11th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about.
Hey, it's executive producer John Notarianni here. Before we get into today's show, I wanted to let you know we are now in the final 48 hours of our year-end membership campaign, and we really need your support. Because let's be real, the national headlines right now can be pretty depressing and overwhelming. But there's actually a lot of great stuff to be excited about in Portland right now. That's why we're choosing to zoom in and look at what's happening here in our community every day. Because the best stuff happens here at the local level. When you become a CityCast Portland neighbor, you are literally sustaining the local conversation. I'm talking about the curious, passionate human stuff that is important about this city that we all call home. Really, this is the moment to step in. If you've been meaning to join, please do it now. These last couple days really matter. Membership is $10 a month or $100 a year, and it keeps this show going. And you can give a gift membership to someone you love as well. Plus, you're running out of time to get our brand new CityCast beanie. I swear, it's the best way to keep warm and represent your city this winter. Join today at membership.citycast.fm. Thanks.
Katie, you are a board member of the new Northwest Museum of Cartoon Arts. I've heard both so much and so very little about this new museum. Can you catch us up on what somebody would find there?
Yeah, so it is a new museum that is dedicated to celebrating all forms of the cartoon arts. And I think the reason they're using cartoon arts rather than comics museum is that they want to include things like newspaper cartoons and comic strips and maybe even animation, although Portland also has a pretty rad new-ish animation museum. It's on the North Park blocks, and it's about a block north of the Jewish History Museum.
Oh, cool.
Currently, the exhibits celebrate sort of different categories of cartooning in Portland. So there is an exhibit dedicated to the work being done by the Helioscope cartoonists, which is a studio of cartoonists here in Portland. There is also an exhibit dedicated to some of the more underground Portland cartoonists. So there's a few different pieces in right now, but it's all dedicated to Portland work.
Okay, cool.
And then the other thing to keep an eye on is that the museum has a full slate of events for December and is also going to be really focusing on education. So not just a place to go and look at things, but also a really participatory part of the community.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've been meaning to check it out. Well, I feel like the last time you were on, you gave us so many amazing new titles to check out. But for those absolutely new to the genre, do you have any advice to how to get into it? You know, I just feel like it can be such an intimidating endeavor.
Yeah, of course. I think that for children or teenagers right now, it's very easy. It's very in the culture. If you are a kid who reads, you definitely have graphic novels in your world. But if you are an adult, it's a little trickier. I'm afraid that, especially for people approximately our age, 30s, 40s, somewhere in there, when we were kids, it was very much a thing that you kind of had to be in it to be in it. Like someone was going to quiz you on how many Robins there were or whatever before you were allowed to read Batman. And so there's a sense of being not knowledgeable enough to play the game. So that's really the recommendations that I brought today are all things that you can absolutely jump in on cold. The other thing I really want to say about jumping in, or especially if you're buying these books for gifts for people, is that graphic novels are a whole medium. They're not just a story. They're not just a picture book. They are themes and stories and pictures that have colors, that have styles. And so it is not just okay, but encouraged to find a book that feels like it goes with the person you're shopping for. Like I will literally ask things like, you know, are they a milk chocolate person or a dark chocolate person? Right?
I love
like,
this.
Are they a white wine person or a bourbon person? Like, what's their favorite sweater look like? These are all things that I feel like you can get a feel for the person. And then you want to get a book that feels like that person. I think one of the things I see a lot in the store is I'll describe, you know, sort of the thematic heart of a book to someone, and then they'll pick it up and they'll be like, unsure. And I'm like, no, take that unsure as a no. If the themes seem right, but the art seems wrong, it's probably not the right present. It's probably not the right book. And it's okay to be like, I'm just not feeling this. Because a lot of what's going on in graphic novels is the sort of conveyance of emotion through art.
So what I'm hearing is lean in to the comic book sell. Like whoever's working the room there that day, they would know, because a lot of people also are afraid to talk to the people who work places. Because I think as Portlanders, we've been trained to need less in a customer service. Let's just be honest about that. We are trained to basically be ready to pick up a shift at any moment.
Yes,
you know what I'm
correct.
saying? You know, because we've all had similar roles. I think just growing up, we've all had those jobs and we're just like, we don't want to be those guys. We want to be cool guys. But I'm just letting you know that people who sell books, people who sell records, people who sell comic books, they want you to talk to them about the things they love. So are there any books or series that you would suggest as a way to dip their toe in?
So Alison Bechdel, known to the whole internet as the inventor of the Bechdel test, has a new graphic novel out this year.
Oh, wow.
And I think the most interesting thing about it might be that it's technically a new genre for her. So her previous books have all been memoir, personal first-person stories about her life. Now, this new book is a novel where the main characters are Alison Bechdel, a fictional version of herself, and her wife, Kate, a fictional version of her wife, Kate. So it is not memoir. It is more self-novelization.
Is this like Synecdoche? Do you remember that movie, Synecdoche? Is it Synecdoche?
Synecdoche, New York. It's got a little bit of that going on. And then the background characters are basically her go-to fictional set of characters who are the dykes to watch out for from her newspaper cartoon in the 1990s and early 2000s. So
and when you say novel, do you mean graphic novel? Or
it
like
is a
just
graphic novel.
Okay, cool.
It is fiction. It is set in rural Vermont, which is where Alison Bechdel and her wife live, except instead of being a professor, she and her wife run a goat rescue. And
still gay, still very gay.
Still gay. She's still a cartoonist. It is lighthearted in tone. It's goofy and charming, but it is set very deeply in the contemporary moment. And its primary focus is on money, capitalism, the economy, and sort of complex puzzles that we all deal with as people who care about other people and community and ethics, but also live in a world where every time we deal with money, it feels like we're touching some giant corporation's pockets in some way that's maybe distasteful. So
yeah,
a lighthearted and fun meditation on late capitalism with also a heavy dose on being, so Alison's a little older than me, being part of the sandwich generation, dealing with aging parents and children growing into adulthood at the same time, while also trying to figure out your own midlife crisis. It's super goofy.
Just a good time.
There's goats.
But I gotta say, having read Alison's work, she has a really great sense of humor. And if this for some reason sounds too heavy, I highly suggest Fun Home. That's one of her most famous graphic novels. I mean, it's also a little soul crushing, but in a good way.
I would say this is lighter than Fun Home.
Okay. Yeah,
nobody dies.
Spoiler alert.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. But yeah, I would also say for an adult just jumping into the medium, Lee Lai has a book out called Canon. It's her second work. And it is, gosh, in some ways now that I think of it, similar, but it's about a woman who is in a bunch of relationships with her father, with her best friend, with her partner, and they are all really unfulfilling. She's just sort of the person who holds it together for everyone else and is not getting back from her relationships. And it is all in this really surrealist feeling line work that is just really satisfying emotionally to sort of be in this complicated life and really empathize with this person who maybe needs to learn about boundaries by the end of the book. It's terrific.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't think I've actually read any of their work. So
yeah.
Canon. Okay, cool.
So I am going to give a super light touch for number 3. This is a book called And to Think We Started as a Book Club by Tom Toro, who is another Portland cartoonist. And it is a collection of New Yorker cartoons and cartoons drawn for, but not published in the New Yorker. We actually had Tom in the shop a few weeks ago, which means that all of our copies of this little guy are signed. But Tom's best known cartoon, I think, is the people sitting around a campfire in the post-apocalyptic wasteland saying, but for a brief moment, we created a great deal of value for shareholders.
Yeah.
I think the one that got me in here was 2 little kids sitting on playground equipment while mom and dad are taking photos. And one kid says to the other kids, sometimes they're my parents, but mostly they're my publicists. So, wry commentaries on daily life. And one of the things we learned about writing for the New Yorker from Tom coming in and chatting with us was that it can actually be anywhere from months to years between submitting a cartoon to the New Yorker and that cartoon being published. And so there's a great deal of emphasis on making the salient, contemporary, but not specifically political cartoon piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's not really a thing I knew about the New Yorker as a publication entity, but it's one of the reasons that they have such a specific texture to their cartooning work.
Yeah. Have you ever submitted one? Because, you could submit one, like they have a website. I mean, like a caption.
Absolutely not.
Really? You have not? I had a friend who would every freaking week would submit Who Let the Dogs Out because she was hoping that one day it would hit.
Amazing. That's spectacular.
But honestly, it's the perfect, in bed or whatever Chinese fortune cookie. Who Let the Dogs Out might actually work for every New Yorker caption. And even when it doesn't, it works perfectly, if that makes sense, just because it's so absurd.
Absolutely.
So,
I support that. Yeah, it's delightful. It's light. Like I would bring it to a white elephant party. It's not,
mhm.
it's contemporary, but inoffensive. It's got a lot going for it, but it doesn't need to be too specific. And it's a good time.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, some picks for off the beaten path superhero comic books.
So, if you're running out of time looking for that perfect holiday gift, especially for someone who's long distance, Aura Frames might be just the thing. Not only is it one of the best looking digital frames out there, but it has been named the #1 digital frame by Wirecutter, The Strategist, Wired, and PC Mag. I actually sent one myself as a gift for my mom, and she loves it. I'll send her pics, she can send them to me. You can even upload videos to the frame. And right now, for a limited time, you can save on this perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com and getting $35 off their best-selling Carver matte frames. You just have to use promo code CityCast when you check out. That's auraframes.com and use the promo code CityCast. Now, this deal is exclusive to our listeners, and the frames do sell out. So order yours now to make sure you get it in time for the holidays. And please, support the show by using that promo code CityCast at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. The idea of learning a new language can be scary. I felt overwhelmed by that. I bet you have too. I'm CityCast CEO David Plotz, and studies show that up to 90% of people trying to learn a new language give up. 90%. Fortunately, Babbel's built so that it's really easy to get started and really easy to stick with it. They understand that people learn differently. So maybe you can dive into a podcast on Babbel when you don't feel like a quick lesson, or you can speak out loud to get practice in, or you can explore courses based on specific topics and even create your own customized review lists, all within the Babbel app. Babbel has made learning a language all about small steps with real wins and progress you can actually track and feel. Bite-sized lessons that fit easily into your daily routine and are also easy to remember. Just 10 minutes a day is enough to start seeing real results. I've been learning Spanish with Babbel, and it's helped when I've traveled in Mexico, and it helps me eavesdrop on my son and my girlfriend when they speak Spanish to try to fool me. No más, mi corazón. However you learn best, by listening, speaking, reading, or writing, Babbel adapts to your style and keeps you motivated with personalized learning plans, real-time feedback, and progress tracking. And right now, here's a special limited time deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey, it's executive producer John Notarianni here. You know, I love Portland, and I never feel more connected to this city than I do on a cold, rainy night this time of year, when you duck into a warm restaurant and find that the room is just alive with conversation and laughter. That feeling of connection with the city is why we created the CityCast Portland Neighbors program. CityCast Portland Neighbors is a way to support this podcast and keep it going, but it's also a way of getting more out of this city that we all love. When you're a CityCast Portland neighbor, you get an early look at the events that are coming up around town, a chance to shout out local nonprofits or businesses that you love, and you get to join us for members-only experiences around the city. Stuff like our upcoming Neighbors Night that's happening at the Hollywood Theater. It's a deeper way of living in Portland and a way of making local your top priority. You can join the CityCast Portland Neighbors program by going to membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. And you'll get a Portland beanie. Pretty cool.
So, Katie, you're a big advocate for Off the Beaten Path, you know, kind of alt superhero comic books. What are a few you'd recommend?
Absolutely. My #1 superhero book for this year is Absolute Wonder Woman from DC Comics. It's a Wonder Woman comic that doesn't feel super off the beaten path, but what DC has done this year with their Absolute line of comic books has been both really innovative and interesting and wildly popular. And I feel like you don't get that kind of hit that often where you take a wild, weird swing and it absolutely lands.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is nice because it is a place where you can jump in with very little background or continuity. It is a new story for Wonder Woman from infancy on up. And the only thing you need to know for a background is that the big bad Darkseid has recreated a world with the intention of taking away everything that was nice in the childhoods of our heroes. So if you give the philosophy that maybe Batman's only a good guy because after he witnessed tragedy, he had wealth and Alfred to pull him back together. So if we take away his wealth and we take away his Alfred, he will grow into a villain, is sort of the basis for these stories.
So these are all like villain versions of these superheroes.
Well, no, because what's lovely, spoiler, is that they just turn into different kinds of heroes. And in some ways, they turn into even more interesting heroes. So what about a working class Batman who had to grow through the adversity of losing his, in this case, father, grieving, and then becoming a hero anyway?
Man, so like a slightly more realistic version.
They're gritty, they're fun. Wonder Woman is similarly taken from her cushy childhood. She does not get to grow up in Themyscira with the Amazons and everybody doting on her and this great community. Her community is taken from her. She is stolen as an infant. She is forbidden to learn the word Amazon or anything about her history. And instead,
interesting.
She is sent to hell to be raised by the witch Circe.
Damn.
She's raised without community. She's raised without, hundreds of aunties who are all superheroes in their own right. Instead, she is raised with all these like magical beasties and demons and this woman who is herself being punished by the gods, right? But what we get out of that is this Wonder Woman who is really tough, sort of worldly in a way that Diana in the original stories is more innocent to the world. And she does magic.
Oh, pretty cool. Like close hand, like pick a card?
Yeah. She pick a card, any card. No, she does like gory blood magic. Like she has all this like witchy calling on the gods sort of. It's stunning.
Wow.
And so then when she enters into man's world, she is much more of a badass and not just a like Born Sexy Yesterday character who happens to be very strong, right? It's fascinating. It's by local writer Kelly Thompson. Mm-hmm. It is mostly drawn by an artist named Hayden Sherman, who I am fully convinced that they never ever want to be bored when they create a page of comics or a book of comics, because they give themselves such hard challenges in terms of paneling and like action sequences. Like everything they do is challenging and interesting. And then the colors on it are by also Portland colorist Jordi Belair, and just absolutely light up the pages so that when we're in hell, it feels dark but also cozy. And you get this sense of like the ways that they make this hell a home.
That sounds awesome. So finally, a big portion of your shop is devoted to comics for kids. What are a few titles that you would recommend? Like, you want to give me like maybe 2 titles?
2 titles is great. So I want to tell you about Agent Cupcake. And this is for your younger readers. This is about a 12-year-old kid who loves mythical beasts more than anything. He is fascinated by mythical beasts. And then he gets hired by the Mythical Beasts Bureau, which is an organization that attends to the secret agent spy needs of mythical beasts. And it turns out that the unicorns in this world are losing their powers. So our buddy Miguel and his secret agent partner, Agent Cupcake, have to go into the secret world of magical creatures and figure out what's happening to the unicorns.
Oh, nice. What's the other one?
The other one is for a slightly older audience. This is sort of a young adult book. It's by Ngozi Ukazu, who their previous work was Check Please. Their current work is called Flip, and Flip is a contemporary update on a 90s rom-com. So this is about a kid who is having trouble fitting in school. She's like awkward and weird, and she has an enormous crush on the most popular boy in school, and then wakes up one morning and they have swapped bodies. And suddenly she is the most popular boy in school and white, which is weird for her. And he is not the most popular boy in school and biracial and poor and all the other things. So it is a story of increased understanding through body swapping.
It's like a Freaky Friday.
It's
but
like teen Freaky Friday. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's a really good time.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I know Books with Pictures is actually going big this season. You're now operating a second Portland location as part of the PDX pop-up shops downtown. This is the first time I've heard that there's a PDX pop-up shops downtown. Like, how's that going? Fill me in.
It's an interesting program. It's in its 16th year, and it
What
is.
the hell? Sorry,
I know.
Katie.
I'm sorry.
Like, Katie, I do a podcast every day about Portland. Like, this is the first I've heard of this. So when did this new thing happen? You're like
16
years ago,
when
my
my
love.
first child was born. So
Whole
it's in
teenager
its
ago.
16th year. Yeah, exactly. So the PDX Pop-Up Shops program is in its 16th year, and it's about filling in vacant storefronts downtown to make a more vibrant holiday shopping experience. Some of the folks who are doing pop-ups this is their first experience with brick and mortar. Some of them are moving out of something like a food truck or just doing like vending at festivals. And some of them, like me, are trying out a second location where the question is, hey, what if we operated downtown?
Okay.
The program gives us free rent and a little bit of a stipend to help build that out, and lasts from early November to late December. And so it's a fun opportunity. But also we only got the keys about a week before we had to open. And so one of my staff members said it was just like a retail drag race. So with a tight budget and no time, we put together this really beautiful, cozy shop and are operating out of there 5 or 6 days a week. I'm still sort of figuring out the best times to be open. And it's got all of our usual sections. There's horror, there's science fiction, there's nonfiction, there's space for kids and space for teens. There's a big queer corner, but in general, the way that it's set up is more thematic. So if you want to come and read about witches and hauntings, here is a cozy rocking chair and a whole pile of books about witches and hauntings. You should come and flip through them. So it's cozy. It's gift oriented. It doesn't actually have any single issue comics with staples. It is only graphic novels, comics with spines. And it's really fun.
That's cool. And it's just like various locations all over downtown.
The
Like
pop-ups are various locations all over downtown. Yeah. And you can pick up a map. I'm sure they have them at Travel Portland. It's a project of Portland Metro. I've got the maps in the store as well.
Cool. And where was your pop-up again?
I'm at Southwest 3rd and Taylor. And it's next door to the Fossil Cartel, which is full of amazing rocks that will hit all your shiny things buttons. So I personally believe that you can probably do your entire gift list with only books and shiny rocks.
I have to agree with you. I think that's a winner. If someone gave me a shiny, like a cool rock, you know, and a graphic novel, I would be stoked. Katie,
Right?
I would just say, yeah, 100%. Especially if that rock maybe had a fossil. Get out of here.
Yeah, or if it's a necklace, or it has a fossil. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Done. I'm sure everyone listening agrees too. I'm sure everyone's just like, yeah, of course, 100%. Shiny rock in a comic book. Katie, it is always so lovely to have you on. So yeah, people listening, if you haven't really dived into graphic novels, like what are you waiting for? I feel like it is an unsung Portland art form that like everyone else in the world knows about, like that we're famous for, but Portlanders do not know that we're actually known for this.
I think
this
that
is
actually an afternoon of learning all about Portland comics at the Northwest Museum of Cartoon Arts, and then stopping by Books with Pictures downtown to pick up all of your locally made or otherwise graphic novels for all of your friends is a great afternoon.
There you go.
The Pioneer Square Christmas tree is in between.
I mean, I can't think of a better day. Well, thank you again, Katie, for hanging out with us and giving us some of your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, it's executive producer John Notarianni again. I just wanted to take a moment to give a huge thank you to everybody who's joined CityCast Portland Neighbors this week. Laura B., Amelia W., Tanya B., and Jason A., thank you so much. Here's what Laura had to say about why she joined. She said, I love reading the daily newsletter while I drink my morning coffee. I've learned about so many fun things to do in Portland, and as a new resident, this has been invaluable. Thank you for highlighting the many reasons why Portland is so awesome. Laura, thank you so much. We would love for the rest of you to join in with the CityCast Portland Neighbors program and support everything that our show and our daily newsletter is doing to both inform you about the city and make things a little bit more fun. But now's the time to do it. There's only 2 days left to sign up before this drive ends. So please, make the most out of this winter. Join today at membership.citycast.fm. Thanks.
And now for some events happening this week. Every Thursday on the show, we like to bring you a few recommendations to help you plan your weekend, and here's what we got. Tonight, OMSI is having a Real Eats event, which is a movie with themed food pairings. $36 gets you entrance to see Wicked, plus a tray full of bites to go along with whatever's happening on screen. I've been to one of their showings of Spirited Away, and it was so much fun. Highly recommended. I did get a tummy ache, though, but I think that was my fault. This weekend is also the Portland Bazaar taking place in Northwest Portland. That's over 160 local vendors housed inside a slab-town industrial building for your holiday shopping convenience. Who knows? Maybe you'll see John, our executive producer, bopping around with his once-a-year fancy coffee. Another cool holiday shopping spot for you to check out is the Lloyd Center. They're having their yearly mall crawl all day on Saturday, so that's indie shops, an arcade, ice skating, plus a bustling food court. It should be a ton of fun. This year, they're also having a holiday youth art market where kids 6 through 18 are selling their original art, zines, stickers, homemade toys, patches, you name it. That should be so cool. Of course, there's so much more happening this weekend, and if you'd like earlier access to our event picks, become a CityCast Portland member. That's one of the many perks on top of ad-free listening and invites to member-only events. You can check out all the details at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. For even more local news and events, sign up for our daily newsletter, Hate Portland, or check out our website, portland.citycast.fm. We'll throw a link for all this in the show notes. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend or rate and leave us a good review. It really helps us out. And don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm for all the details. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.